Edition.
Knicks Daily Edition, baby. Welcome back, everybody. I want to talk about Dink Pate today. And I'm going to call him DP for the sake of not having too many pause moments, all right? The New York Knicks may have just pulled off a masterstroke, no pun intended,
hey, yo,
in the 2025 NBA draft by selecting this kid, DP. He is a 6'7", 19-year-old combo guard, but he has undeniable upside. And I think what fans and hoopers alike are already calling a potential steal for Leon Rose. Now, some people are comparing this kid to Tyrese Halliburton. Other people I've seen mention Thompson twins, Alser and Amen. But some people whisper that he's New York's future at the shooting guard position. So a lot of us are kind of looking at seeing who's a natural fit. That may be it. So in a league that's obsessed with the size, the feel, and the versatility at the guard spots, Pate checks all the modern boxes for us. What I want to do in this video is just kind of break it down why this pick might be the latest pick of genius from Leon Rose, why we should keep eyes on him if he plays in the Summer League, and why Knicks fans, including my guy CP, is buzzing about him. Leon Rose didn't flinch in the face of media pressure or fan anxiety. With the Knicks locked into win now mode after acquiring Karl Anthony Towns, after re-signing OG Anunoby, many people would assume that Leon Rose would trade the pick for a veteran role player, but instead, he bet on upside, a theme throughout his tenure, especially with players like Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson ultimately exceeded expectations through development and through culture. So rather than paying in a shallow free agent pool or surrendering future picks for a marginal upgrade, which was definitely a lot of opportunities out there to do that, Rose ended up swinging big with this kid Pate. It's a low risk, high ceiling type of move. Even if Pate takes a year or two to develop, we as Knicks fans, we know we have enough depth. We have Josh Hart, we have Deuce, we have McCall Bridges. So we have enough depth to insulate him while he grows. So this is not a panic move by Leon Rose. This is a smart, strategic acquisition of talent while keeping long-term cap flexibility, while maintaining youth in the locker room. So I love this move. Go to YouTube, check out this kid's videos also. Pate might be the bridge between the Brunson era and whatever comes next. He's that good. He's raw right now, but he's that good. He may end up sharing that era as Brunson's dynamic backcourt partner if he develops on the fast track, which is why this coaching hire was so important. Because there's a lot of comparisons that come with Pate. I already talked about Halliburton. I already talked about the Thompson twins. So let me be a little bit more specific about why people are comparing him to Hallie. Pate has a tall frame. He has excellent vision. And he plays with a natural feel for the game. As much as I hate to say it, like Halliburton, he has an unselfish mindset, but he also can score when asked. His passing in transition and his ability to read weak side help are rare for a player who got drafted at 17. I think he's 17 or 19. I think he was drafted at 17. So Halliburton's shot mechanics are quirky. Pate is still developing his perimeter shot, but he also needs to tighten his handle under pressure. Also, Halliburton came into the league more polished. Pate is more raw, but may be more physically gifted. The kid has moments where he's explosive. So I think in terms of that comparison, it's a flattering comp. But while Pate might not reach the all-NBA engine levels that Halliburton has, the potential is there in terms of his height, his feel, and his pace control. Now, I talked about the Thompson twins, and I really was able to kind of just pull up, some video on that and look at that as well. I think they have a blend of athleticism and size at the guard spot. Pate thrives in the open court. He sees plays before they happen and plays with a certain fluidity that's hard to teach. So like the Thompsons, he's still developing his jumper, and half-court decision-making has to improve as well. But once again, that comes with experience. I think the differences are that Pate may not be quite as explosive vertically as Amen or as elite defensively as Alser, but he may have a smoother handle and more offensive upside in terms of shot creation. And I think that's a difference. He also has played against pros in the G League. with G League Ignite, I think it's his team. So not necessarily high school or overtime circuits. So in terms of this comparison, I think it works physically and developmentally. He fits in the raw athlete who can become a two-way star category. So I was hyped about that. Something that was new, that I was impressed by, was Cam Thompson. All right, Cam Thompson. Pate has a scoring gene, clearly. He's not just a playmaker, he can fill it up, and that's often what we need at that shooting guard position. So Cam Thompson's microwave scoring style, he has that potential. And we start to see that when he gets into isolation sets. I just think that the difference is with Pate is that he's a pass first player by nature, unlike Thomas. But that makes him even more intriguing. Imagine Cam Thomas's scoring chops with vision and size. And that's the piece that excites me. All right, so I think in terms of that comparison, what should excite you as Knicks fans is the idea of Pate developing into a guy who can give you 20 plus points, but also run offense at 6'7". That's the piece that I love. That's the piece I think that we really need to keep eyes on. So what do we see in this kid? You know, why might he actually be our answer at the starting guard for the future? And I think this is giving you a little bit more of a fuller picture in terms of why we should dream big for this kid. One, you can't ignore the size and the combo at the 2 spot. At 6'7", he brings plus size to the court. In today's NBA, teams like the Celtics, the Thunder, they all got tall players, length at all positions. With Pate, the Knicks would have Brunson, and then Pate, and then Bridges, and then Anunoby. Towns if he's the starting 5, that features a physical advantage at every position. Plus the kid has elite playmaking potential. Pate's vision is rare. He manipulates defenses with his eyes. That's why I'm interested in seeing the flashes in Summer League. He zips cross-court passes. The man hits rollers on timing and touch. He's not just a tall guard. He's a natural playmaker. And I think that means he could eventually take pressure off of Jalen Brunson in the half court or lead the bench early in his career. But I love the scoring upside. When you hear him compared to names like a Halliburton or names like Cam Thomas, he's raw, but he's got the tools. He has decent pull-up mechanics. He has a smooth floater, but he also has the ability to get downhill with long strides. If he becomes a consistent three-point shooter, the ceiling skyrockets for him. He can already create separation with step backs and change of pace. But give him 1 or 2 years of NBA reps, that man could easily become a 17 to 20 point per game scorer. So imagine that with defensive ability and versatility. He's not a stopper yet, but the tools are there. He has long arms. He has good instincts. He has quick feet. He has solid anticipation. He has the potential to guard 1 through 3, switch onto wings, and disrupt passing lanes. I think that seems to be the trend we have with the New York Knicks. And on a Mike Brown type of defense, he could blossom into a plus defender. And he got that. He was able to sharpen those blades and sharpen his chops in the G League. Pate already played pro-level competition in the G League Ignite. So he knows the size, the speed, and the complexity of pro schemes. That's huge. That's going to help his learning curve. He won't be wide-eyed as a rookie. Hopefully not. And the Ignite program developed guys like Jalen Green, Dyson Daniels, Scoot Henderson. He's used to being around NBA level coaches and pros. So I'm hyped. I got to cut this video short, but I'm hyped. I think the Knicks found a gem in this kid. So remember the name, Dink Pate. Look him up. I think Leon Rose bet on his talent, and he made the bet without flinching. And that got to make us excited. He didn't package the pick for an aging wing. He didn't reach for a safe college upperclassman. He went for a guy who, in 2 years, could be given the Knicks size, scoring, and playmaking at the 2-guard spot, next to an all-NBA point guard in Jalen Brunson. Pate isn't just a developmental piece, ladies and gentlemen. That's why the Summer League is going to be so beautiful to watch. He's more of a developmental piece. He could be the X factor that allows the Knicks to eventually transition into the next era without needing a superstar trade. Although I will still do that video on Giannis. But I think if Brunson, he turned into a star that way, possibly could be given the keys. I think Knicks culture is work ethic, defensive accountability. I think he fits right in. If you squint hard enough, you can see it now. Brunson at the 1, Pate at the 2, Bridges at the 3, Anunoby at the 4, Towns or Robinson at the 5. Yo, that's a long lineup. That's a skilled lineup. That's a balanced lineup. Most of all, that's a dangerous lineup. I'm hyped for the future of the New York Knicks, man. Whether it's moves that we're making management-wise or anywhere else. We might have drafted the future starting shooting guard for the New York Knicks. And once again, Leon Rose continues to get the last laugh on these haters. What say you? Keep this in mind. The same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there is no struggle, there's no progress. But remember this, whether it's out there in the real world or here in these YouTube streets, here in Knicks Deli, everybody eats.